Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. My guest today is IFBB Wellness Pro, Kassandra Gillis, and I messed up her name. We were chatting at the beginning and joking around because I've had such an issue with time zones and scheduling podcasts and just getting everything all messed up that we were joking. And so I totally stumbled over her name and I wanted to do a reintroduction and kind of apologize for that and get it right. But Kass is a wellness pro. We just saw her compete at the Arnold. She got 6th place. It was really awesome. We were all fangirling and cheering for her. She just looks absolutely incredible. And she has this new product that she created called Kass. I think they're called Kass jeans. And they're jeans that are made for fitness chicks who have bigger glutes and quads and hamstrings and a tighter waist and everything. They're kind of all stretchy. I'm excited to hear about this product as well. And hopefully we can, I'd like to get some and try some on. So I'm super excited about that. I was telling her I haven't worn jeans since like 2010 because they're just not comfortable at all. So really excited about this product, really excited about this interview. I know you guys are going to love it. So without further ado, here is my interview with Kassandra Gillis. Okay. I was gonna say good morning, but I was gonna say, you know what I'm really good at? Time zones.
It was my fault too. I was traveling the first time you emailed me. So I'm like, yeah, was all thrown off. And
it's just funny because it happens so much at this point. I'm just like, I think, my birthday's next week. So if somebody wants to buy me like a time zone clock.
Right. I have to like talk to people in different time zones all the time. It's like, why can't we get it right by now? But
yeah,
here we are.
Absolutely. Can you turn your phone this way?
Is that lengthwise?
Yeah. Is that possible? That way you're
let's see.
Oh, all set up. Yes. Now we are both.
All right, hold on.
We're both taking up equal spaces. Yeah, I've had that with so many. I mean, I love it. It's so great that I can do interviews with people all over the country. But there's always, it's like, what time is it over there? And then you'll get like a delayed response. And then you're like,
yes,
that's really that's really what the time is. So I don't know. I guess I just have to learn to laugh it off and reschedule as we can. So this worked out great. So
you should get one of those Calendly things. Have you seen those where you can like book times?
Yeah. I don't know. Does it convert? Like, well,
I think it does. Yeah, it does. I'm pretty sure.
I think somebody told me about that. And I think it's actually like, you don't have to pay anything for like whatever the lowest level is or whatever. So it wouldn't even have to pay for something. So I'll have to look into that. business tips from Kass. All right, you ready to go?
I am, yes.
All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. My guest today is, oh my gosh, I just totally forgot your last name. It's Gillis,
yep.
Isn't it?
Gillis.
Yes. Okay. Kassandra Gillis. She is an IFBB Wellness Pro. We just watched her at the Arnold. That was really fun. And everyone on the podcast on Chick Chat has been fangirling about you. So we all love you so much. So excited for you to be on the show today.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
How are you doing? You having a good morning so far?
I am. Yeah, it's been a good morning. It's a holiday today. So the husband's home to kind of keep an eye on my son. So that's nice while I'm trying to do some stuff.
I was going to ask you about that. You had said that when we were scheduling this about dropping off your son, and I was thinking, I was curious about that. I didn't know that you were a mom. And I'm sure, the three guys that listen to this podcast want to know if you're single, but you're not, you're married. So how old is your son?
He just turned 5 in January.
Okay, nice. Do you love being a mom?
I do. I'm just still trying to get the hang of being organized and being in prep and trying to get my businesses going. So always a work in progress, but I'm trying.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we can do, right? Is our best. So
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background, your childhood. I'm always curious about the epigenetic factor. If you played any sports as a kid growing up, and then how did that transition into getting into bodybuilding?
I guess I always kind of had like an athletic ability. I used to play softball and soccer from like grade 3 up until grade 9. And then like a lot of people in high school, you kind of drift away from that and like start, getting into the partying phase. So yeah. And then I had my son at 22, and that's kind of when I got into fitness to lose the baby weight and just to help with that postpartum and anxiety and that kind of stuff.
I see. So you're 27 now, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so how did you start out? How long were you training before you competed?
Less than a year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's how different it is in Canada. Was your first competition in Canada?
It was. So originally my very first show, it was we call it BC ABBA here. It's the Elite Federation, the one that's more popular out in Europe and stuff like that. So I did that one, and it was only me and one other girl, which was a great start for me to get on stage. And then I did well. So we went into a bigger show 4 weeks after that, and that was the Popeyes Fall Classic, which is probably like one of the biggest shows in my area in terms of regional shows. Yeah.
And how did that one go?
I won that one as well. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do well in this sport. So that's kind of what motivated me to keep going.
Okay. What year was this?
This was November 2018.
Okay. So were you competing in wellness or no? Because we didn't have wellness.
No. So wellness is actually the look that motivated me to put on muscle. Like Vivi Winkler, I don't know if you know who she is, like the big quads. Like I was like, I want to look like that. However, the federation that I wanted to go with didn't have that category yet. So I just went into figure, which was pretty easy for me because my upper body grows pretty quickly. So yeah.
Nice. So 2018, that's when you competed in figure. So tell us a little bit about your competition history.
So I guess the last show I was talking about was my last regional show. And then I did the Vancouver Pro Qualifier, I believe it was July 2019. I came second in my category at that show. And then I decided to compete in Medellin, Colombia. It was actually the very first wellness pro qualifier, which was really cool to watch, but I did compete in a figure there, and I won that show and got my pro card in figure. Returning home in March is right when the pandemic hit. So I had plans to continue competing in figure and stuff, but everything kind of went on halt. Started working on a farm just to stay busy and stay mentally sane. And then from there, my current coach reached out to me asking if I had ever considered wellness. And I was like, I've always loved the look, but I didn't really think I had the genetics to switch that category. But I agreed to give it a go, and here we are now.
So what did you have to do as far as like changing your physique a little bit? So how much time was put into maybe adding some more size in your lower half? Is that what happened?
That was the main thing. My quads grow very easily, so they grew really quickly. And then I'm still working on my adductors, my hamstrings, and my glutes. I feel need the most improvement. We've been downsizing every show. My feedback is my upper body is still too big. So as soon as I like start carrying groceries or like do machines where I'm like gripping and activating my shoulders, my upper body will start to grow. So we've downsized again for Pittsburgh, and now I'm training very, very carefully, like no hands on anything. I think I'm pretty happy with where my upper body is. So if we can just keep it this size, hopefully, yeah.
That's so, I mean, we would all love this problem, right? To just be growing. But we have to, you're like, don't pick up anything, don't carry
Yeah.
groceries, nothing.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So obviously you have the genetics for this sport, you know, looking at a weight and being able to grow. What is your training looking like right now then? So you're not doing any upper body, I'm guessing.
No, so it's basically glutes and hamstrings, adductors, and then a cardio or a rest day, and then repeat. So it's like one on, one off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it really enough to, I know a lot of the wellness girls do like 3 lower body days within the course of like a week or so. What are you doing to recover from that? Or is the, well, first, let me ask you that. What are you what are you doing to be able to recover so quickly from one session to the next? Like you just kind of switching from front to back, or like as far
It's only back now, but I feel like I've gotten to the point where I've trained legs so much that my body can really handle all that volume. So yeah, I feel I can tell when I'm getting tired and not rested enough. So I have a pretty good sense of that, I think.
okay. Is it, are you one to train more with higher volume for your sessions, or is it more intensity? Like, are you doing more like, you know, 3 or 4 sets of, you know, 10 to 15 or whatever, or are you doing more like, you know, one hard top set and a back off set? What is your
So
training
in the
look?
beginning, I was kind of going more heavier, like deadlifts and stuff to put on mass in my legs, but my upper body was growing. And I think like I have good size in my lower body now. So we're kind of transitioning, not as heavy, just like really focusing on the negatives and the mind to muscle in certain areas. I feel like that's the biggest thing for me to improve, is like really connecting with certain areas in my legs.
Okay, very cool. So are you in prep right now?
I am. I'm 3 weeks out from Pittsburgh Pro, and then 5 weeks out from New York Pro, and then Toronto will be my last one, and then I'll be resting till the Olympia.
Okay. Now, are you one to put on a good amount of body fat in the off season during that time? I know that the break will be a little bit smaller. Maybe it's not like a full year, but how do you approach your off season?
It's tough to say. I haven't really had a good off season ever, besides like during the pandemic with COVID. I did put on more body fat. But yeah, I don't think it's great to go too far, from your stage weight, like 10 to 15 pounds max. So yeah, I don't really put on too much body fat. Like my issue competing in wellness is coming in too lean and hard.
Yeah.
So it's really just like getting my body to like where I'm at now, and then making those tweaks like the very final weeks.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
curious. So Canada had some pretty stringent lockdowns. What were you doing during that time? I know you said you were farming in order to keep saying that. I mean, I grew up on a farm, so I get that. Tell us a little bit about what lockdown was like for you guys.
Uh, it was stressful. Like I think I had just also got my hernia surgery right at the beginning of the lockdown. So if I had access to a gym, I could have kind of trained around it. But at home, I only had barbells and stuff. So it was really hard to train around a hernia surgery. And I'm not patient. I'm not a patient person. So I was kind of pushing that too soon. But that definitely added to the stress, not being able to like completely train at home. But yeah, lockdowns, it was pretty crazy here in Canada. And I actually did my first competition as a wellness pro during the lockdowns. And I did that on purpose because I knew there wasn't going to be too many Canadians that were willing to go over to the US and do the 14-day quarantine and, take all that risk. So I was like, I'm going for it. And I came to compete in the US.
Was that in 2020 that you did that?
I think it was 2021.
Okay.
That was my pro debut in 2021.
Okay. Tell us a little bit. What is this? You had hernia surgery. Was that a accident or just a pressure over time?
Yeah, I was born with it, an
Oh,
umbilical hernia, and then with lifting, it just kind of made it worsen over the years, and pregnancy as well made it worse. So I got that repaired, but now it kind of seems like it's back to where it was. So that's a bit frustrating, but it is what it is.
I don't want to not to be like gossipy, but I don't know if you follow Michaela Acock. She has recently had hernia surgery as well. And I think they had to do a second surgery
Ugh.
after the first one. So I'm not really sure why that is that they can't get it right.
I know I guess it's a tough one to when you're lifting all the time, like your core is like the main thing, like so it's kind of hard, I guess.
I was thinking how relatable it was that you said you had, like, I think a lot of us during lockdown had equipment and it was just like so random. You're like, what am I even supposed to, you know, I ended up having a shoulder injury, and I was trying to, like, I had like barbells basically also, and it was like too much for where I would have been, like you said, going to the gym and using like more machines and that type of thing.
Hmm.
You're like,
I
okay.
mean, it was kind of cool that you had to be creative, but then it's like it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I'm ready now for the gym to.
Right? You're like, did I pass the test? Now
Yeah, yeah.
can I get back into this? Yeah, it was and then you're like, oh, I vowed to never miss a gym session. And then like it happens and you're like, I guess I don't appreciate anything. So were you so what is it that you do for work? Tell us a little bit about your businesses. I know you have Kass jeans and I want to hear about this. So
Yeah, so I've been I guess I started working on it kind of when the pandemic was starting and I was working on the farm. And I've just been going back and forth with manufacturers trying to get the fit right. I have like boxes of samples that I've tried on, and then I finally found the perfect fabric and fit that I was confident in. And yeah, it's been a bit of a process. Like I said, I'm not a patient person, so I want everything to happen now. But yeah, it's finally going. I got them in at West Coast Iron. I have some good support. I've had like wellness girls post them, so that was really nice of them. And yeah.
I imagine it's like anytime a female goes to jean shop and they take like 40 pairs into the dressing room, like this is what you were doing in order to find the right fit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. So what is special? Like they are more stretchy, or are they actually cut to fit someone with a bigger, she's
Actually have a
got a
pair.
pair.
Look at all these like boxes. Like this is my life right now. It's just jeans. But yeah, so they're stretchy like always. So that
Okay.
way as well.
Yeah.
The butt has a seam like that. So it's almost supposed to have the scrunch bomb effect, like the shaping
Yeah.
effect. And then the waistband is elastic too. So if you have a small waist, it cinches it in so you don't get that gap that we struggle with.
Yeah.
Jeans. So, yeah.
That's awesome. May I ask like kind of what they retail for?
I'm selling them for 120 Canadian. So I believe that's around like 95 US or something like that.
Awesome. For a pair of jeans that you're gonna love.
Yeah, exactly.
Worth every penny, I don't think I've worn actual jeans since like 2010.
Do you just live in leggings too?
Yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
gotta send you a pair then for you to try out for sure.
Oh, that would be so great. That would be so great. Yeah, I'm always like leggings, and then you like add a sweater if you have to dress up, and you're like,
I know. And
yeah.
just that I like being comfortable too. That's the main thing. Like I don't want to squeeze my quads into a pair of cold, like non-stretchable jeans.
Oh, I know. When I worked for a while, I worked for an insurance company, and then they had casual Fridays, and it was when I had started getting into lifting, and I've always had like bigger legs, you know, and they're like, oh, casual Fridays, you can wear jeans, you get to wear jeans. And I'm like, that is not comfortable. It's not
Yeah.
so you that's awesome. Like you totally cornered the market on something that women are gonna love. So that's very exciting. Yeah. So I'm curious about this farm. Is this your farm or what kind of farm was it?
No, it was just a local farm. It wasn't like, it was mostly dogs. Like my work before getting into training was dog training and working with dogs. So I kind of got back into that. He had like, I think 5 dogs, like 5 chickens. It was really random, like landscaping, not like an actual like farm, but it was like hard labor. I was out in the pouring rain cutting blackberry bramble. Do you know what that is? Like those prickly. I was doing that all day in the pouring down rain. And yeah, so that was definitely a learning experience for sure.
Oh, that's awful. This is like, so when you got into like back to training, you were like, this is easy compared to.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my goodness. So so he sold blackberries obviously also.
Yeah, I don't know if they sold those or they were just on the property. They kind of like take over everything. They're like a weed almost. But I know he like donates them to charity and stuff like that. It was a really random job, but it was cool. Some parts of it anyways.
Very nice. Do you have any dogs now?
I do. I have 3 dogs.
What are they? Tell me about them. What are their names?
I have 2 Poms and I have a German Shepherd, Mogwai and Gizmo from the Gremlins,
Yes.
and then Freya is my black German Shepherd. She's a working dog, so she's calmed down now with age, but she definitely loves to work and train, that kind of stuff.
Do you find that she's very protective? I had a German Shepherd. He was a quarter lab, but he was very protective. Is your German Shepherd very protective of you?
A little bit, not like I've seen some that are super protective, but
Yeah.
she's just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not overly aggressive, but like,
Mhm.
yeah, if something is up, you're like, the
It's
dog.
definitely in their like genetic disposition, I think, to be that way for sure.
Yeah, very cool. So you were worked with dogs before this. Is that something how'd you fall into that?
Um, I had a family friend when I was growing up, ever since I was little, and he owned a dog daycare. So that's kind of when I got into it, working at the dog daycare casually. And then I fell in love with it, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to work with dogs. And then from there, I think I was like 19 maybe is when I actually got hired at dog daycare. And then I was working at 2 dog daycares and going to dog training school at the same time. So it was like 15 hours of dogs all the time. And you do get burnt out from that as well. So that was a lot, but yeah, I do miss it. But bodybuilding is definitely like where my heart is at right now.
Yeah. Maybe after you retire from bodybuilding, then you'll get into, having some sort of like a doggy school or something like that.
For sure. Yeah, something like I always have that in my tool belt. Like it's good to have, things you can use
Yeah.
out of bodybuilding.
It's such a skill because I feel like the difference between a good dog and a bad dog is the owner teaching it,
It is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so neat. You could do YouTube videos randomly teaching people how to take care of their dogs.
Right. I could do something like that.
Very cool. So, how is this prep going for you? Are you feeling pretty good, or you're like into the thick of it now, being 3 weeks?
Yeah. Wellness is just very different than figure, because figure, it was like just get as shredded as possible.
Yeah.
Wellness is kind of like making sure you're that perfect balance of softness and leanness, I guess. So I'm confident with where I'm at now. My biggest thing again was downsizing my upper body. So I have a few weeks to go, and yeah.
I'm curious what hopefully, obviously you take it, but I'm curious if the judges will be satisfied with that taking down of your upper body a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like every show is a learning experience too, and that's why I want to do these 3 shows, is because I need to work on my stage presence. I feel like that's my biggest thing that's hurting me. So what better way to do that than get up there with all of those girls and, you know, improve.
Yeah, practice, practice, practice. You know, I'm wondering if, you know, I saw a couple of your photo shoots now, like pictures you just put up from your most recent photo shoots, which I want to show people if they're like, so if they want to check this out,
Yeah.
we'll find you here. We'll creep on Kass. But I'm wondering, do you feel like the photo shoots help you with your sort of confidence in your presence as well? Is it more actually the stage routine that you feel like you just need practice with?
It's really funny because I keep thinking about that, like how much I can, you know, pose and flow when it comes to photo shoots, but it's like the pressure of stage posing almost gets to me. Like it's like 2 different things, but it shouldn't. I need to have that mindset of like being in a photo shoot, and you know what I mean? So I need to work on that.
I think that, you know, the people that I know who have backgrounds with like performing as far as like gymnastics or cheer, they tend to be able to carry that to stage, even though it's a completely different presentation. So I'm trying to find, I remember the ones in the red. And here's you being goofy, and you're on TikTok if people want to find you on TikTok.
Yes.
These are incredible. You just look absolutely, absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
So are you enjoying just being able to compete finally in the division that you were wanting to in the first place?
I am. I love it. I love the category so much. It gives so many women that weren't able to compete before, you know, more of a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a welcome. I mean, we're so far behind. I know talking with Juliana, when I talked to Juliana Malacarne, and she was saying how, you know, they've had this in Brazil for 20 years now. So we
20 years? Wow, I didn't know it was that old. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's really interesting how long it took for us to grab onto this. But so many, even the women who compete in other categories are like, well, if I could pick somebody to look like, it would be the wellness girls. It's just, yeah. And I think it's exceptionally popular right now too, because, you know, in the last couple of years, everything was about growing your booty, growing your legs. And so you're absolutely representing. I can't speak for Canada, but I'm going to say that I think Canada is very proud of you.
Well, I hope so. Thank you.
Yes, very cool. So you're 3 weeks out. You're doing good. What is your diet kind of looking like right now? Are you more of a clean foods diet, or do you really clean it up as you get closer to the end? What's the process a little bit? And how long have you been prepping? How long has this prep been?
Oh gosh. Well, I haven't really gone out of prep since the Arnolds. So like, I guess honestly, the only break that I had was like December, Christmas time, and then it was back into prep.
Okay.
What was the other question? Sorry.
It's okay. So are you more of a clean foods diet, or and who's coaching you?
Chris from Team Ludacris.
Okay.
So a Canadian coach, but we have some wellness pros from the US on our team now, and they're looking incredible. Like Marissa is competing tomorrow in St. Louis. So good luck to them. It's super, super excited to see how that goes. But yeah, sorry, clean foods. It's pretty clean, but I can get away with granola with like some chocolate chunks in it and stuff like that, because I get lean so easily and I drop a ton of weight when I travel for some reason. I think it's all the walking around. So I almost need to not be in condition before I get on the plane, and then I drop into, it's like a very detailed process.
So has it been pretty clockwork since like how long have you been working with Chris? Has he done several of your preps?
Yeah, he's done all of my wellness preps. I've been with him I think we said it was like 14 months now or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of has, let's say, basically figured out your body.
Yeah, he definitely has a good understanding. And also we've been learning the wellness category as it goes together. So that's been cool too.
Yeah. So you are able to eat quite a bit, or is your metabolism just really, it just really fast? How, like, what would you say? You feel like you're eating quite a bit right now still?
I guess compared to what I hear other people eating, like my cardio is at 3 days a week, 30 minutes, and my calories are at like 24 and 2000 on training days and off days.
Okay.
But it really depends on where my body is at. Like, for example, I've had like my calories at like 3,400 going into shows. So
Wow.
it's really, it can be up and down for sure.
Well, it's really tough for you. And
It's more of like a mental thing, I feel. Yeah.
yeah, very cool. It's so I'm curious. So you had to like grow more on your lower half and take muscle off your upper half. What was your stage weight from like the first time you stepped on stage until now? Like, has your weight been trending up still as far as muscle building, or has it sort of evened out that way?
It's been fluctuating. So my very first wellness show, I was like 149 on stage. Toronto Pro, which was in December, I was 141. So it really like, it's really up and down, I feel. Right now I'm at 145. So
Okay.
we'll see what I come into for this show. But yeah, it's very up and down.
Okay. Was this last Arnold? Was this your first Arnold that you
Yeah.
competed? Yeah. What was that experience like?
It was so amazing. They treated us so well. Like they would drive us to places if we needed like groceries or to go to the gym. So there was a team like right in the hotel that you could go for help. You were just treated like amazingly. So it was a great experience. I hope I can qualify or get accepted again next year for sure.
Yeah. We had such a good, so May and Brooke Walker and Kira Newman talked a little bit about the competitors before and after the Arnold. And yeah, you were definitely a favorite. So
Aw.
yeah, it would have been great for you to, I think, did you get fifth or sixth?
I came in sixth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely pushing you to be up there a little higher. So that would be awesome for another opportunity for you to
Yeah.
do it next year.
People keep saying that, but in the end, it's like it's the judges. So what do you do, right? Like just take their feedback and apply it to the next one.
Yeah. Everybody looked amazing though. So I understand how difficult it would be to, try to put
I know
everybody.
I don't think I could be a judge personally. I don't know how they do it, but
Right. Cause you're like 5 people tying for first. Is that okay?
yeah, you're all winners.
Well, you're not gonna, I mean, especially, in the top 10, you're not gonna see a bad physique, you know what I mean? So it's just
Exactly.
yeah, the best of the best. So you have to be so proud of yourself for something that was kind of a whim to get into. Oh.
Yeah, I'm very proud of coming in the top 6. Like that was a huge step up, I feel, from my placing at the Olympia from 11th. So just got to keep working and
Yeah.
hopefully climbing the ranks.
Yeah. I want to ask you, when you got into this, who were you looking to for sort of inspiration, or when you thought, I'm in figure right now, but I really like wellness? Was there anyone in particular that you were looking up to as far as maybe goals or just inspiration?
I think it's always been Vivi. Like she's always been my
Yeah.
motivation. Like she's been my background, and she needs to come over to this federation and do a show because that would be freaking amazing. But
She's like
yeah.
been in her off season for quite some time now. I mean, she looks amazing, as like thick as she is right now in her off season.
Mhm.
It's pretty drastic, the difference. And some people can just carry that a lot better than others, or more comfortably or whatever. So I'm curious. I don't have any idea when she plans on stepping on stage again.
I know, I've heard that she's retired, but then I'll see her post some like wellness, so it's like maybe she'll just hop back in at some point, but I guess we'll see.
Do you have any idea how old she is? I thought she was pretty young.
I'm not too sure, actually.
Yeah, I could Google it, but
probably not very old, but
no, like I didn't think she was older than 30 for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, it's kind of nice you're on the young end of the spectrum of the wellness competitors as well, I believe too, because I think 30 is right around, you got a couple of them that are older and a couple that are younger. So yeah, you're just getting,
yeah, right in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, just getting your feet wet. So it's very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, do you have time for a couple of fun questions before I let you go?
I do.
Okay. So what is your favorite and your least favorite thing about social media?
Least favorite, obviously comparing yourself to other people. And then my favorite thing, I guess the Instagram, it's like a community of fitness people. So I find there's a lot more positivity than negativity when it comes to comments and stuff like that. And motivation. I think it's very motivating to see people's journeys and how far you've come.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons I love doing the podcast, because there's always something relatable about someone's journey. And there's always something that you can take from it and go, oh, I should try that, or I can apply that to my own life. So it's just a pleasure for y'all to share your background a little bit. The athlete behind the pictures that we see on Instagram and everything. I think it's very cool. Let's see, what's the best and the worst thing about prep?
Oh my goodness. The best thing is that constant push that you need to meet that goal. Like, I'm a very goal-oriented person, so I feel like it keeps me going. The worst thing is the diet, I guess. Like, it's not a hard diet, but that's if I had to choose something. Like, I like food, so yeah, the diet.
What is your favorite cheat meal?
Sushi. I love sushi.
Have you been getting any like refeeds or cheats like that, or you just been pretty steady the whole time?
Pretty steady. I'll get the odd one here and there, but my meal plan isn't super strict, like whitefish, tilapia, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I can't complain.
You would be eating a lot of volume if you were strictly like doing fish. And I don't know, tell me what is your breakfast looking like right now?
Right now it's 4 pieces of Ezekiel bread, 4 eggs, a banana, and 30 grams of almond butter.
That's a lot of food.
Yeah. I can eat a lot of food.
Are you what time of the day are you training then? Like, do you get like 2 or 3 meals in before you head to the gym?
I do now. I used to be a fan of training in the morning and getting it over with, but now I find I'm most productive with like business stuff. So I drag my butt a little bit to the gym. I should get there sooner, but it's probably better that I have some more meals in me before I train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people, that's like a topic we talk about a lot, is women training, sometimes even fasted, which I think once you get into more intense training, you realize you would never do well training fasted. I don't know.
No, I definitely think like you'll lose muscle if you train fasted, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you have no energy, I don't think I would. Yeah. I know I like the idea of a morning workout because like you said, it's done, you got it in, but like, I feel like it almost feels like a warm up when compared to a workout that's done at like maybe like 1 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't know what time that is your time, but
neither do I, apparently.
Do you prefer to be around in heels or sneakers?
To like in general, like
Yeah. What do you prefer?
sneakers.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
do a nice dress up though. Obviously, we've seen from your pictures.
I do love a reason to dress up, and I like wearing heels and photo shoots, but definitely like for
Yeah.
day to day is sneakers.
Do you think that's like, is that the hardest part about the presentation on stage is walking in the heels, or is it just,
I'd say that's what I'm working on the most. And I've been trying to figure out what works for me. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, I've gone back and forth between like a flat platform and a higher platform. I did the flat platform at the Arnold's, and it looked like it made my walk like a horse walk. It was almost like, so that was my feedback was, yeah, I need to be more comfortable with my walk. So I'm back in the platforms practicing that. Hopefully I can get it down this time.
yeah, I know there's Latoria Watts was on talking about it one time, and she had mentioned a specific shoe. It's her interview from a while back, but she was talking about a specific shoe that made it easier to walk in. So I don't know, I could maybe figure out that information and shoot it over to you if it would be helpful, but
Yeah, I need all the secrets.
yeah, I think I know definitely having a platform is better, but you said like it didn't have the rocking. Is that what?
So like the flat one, yeah, I guess it was kind of like, I don't know why, but yeah, the platform I guess gives you more of a rock, like you're saying.
Yeah. It like, otherwise you're like walking on your toes versus almost like more flat, which is more natural for walking. So
Yeah,
yeah, you're better off having some sort of a platform, but too much is like walking on stilts, and you don't want that
exactly.
either. Yeah. It's these are wellness problems, people.
Yeah.
Um so I was going to ask you, if you weren't bodybuilding, what would you be doing? But it sounds like some sort of doggy daycare teaching.
Something dog related for sure.
Yes. Have you ever struggled with body image?
Oh yeah. I think like I'd really like to meet some bodybuilders that don't have some type of body dysmorphia. Like, I don't know if that exists, but definitely like my dad knows that too. So I feel like when I first said I wanted to compete, he was kind of like, oh, I don't know if that's a good thing for you, but I think it's had a lot more benefits than, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think sometimes when you can, like you said, have a goal and channel whatever might be sort of a negative energy. I mean, I know a lot of from these interviews too, a lot of us have had past history with eating disorders as well. And it's kind of given a channel rather than you just kind of like, I don't know what to do with this problem. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you can bodybuilding, it can be very toxic if you're doing it the wrong way, I guess. But I find that there's a lot of people that have had addiction issues, body image issues, and it's been a positive thing for them. So it's really like what you make of it, I guess.
yeah, I think when it comes down to it, we all have something, you know what I mean? So
We all have our why. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And our struggles too. So, I mean, once you're open about that and just realize that we're all sort of messed up in some sort of way.
We are. We're all a little bit crazy.
So what is your favorite body part to train? If you weren't restricted, what would you?
It was legs. It was legs. So that's why that was another reason for me switching, is because I never get tired of training legs.
So what is like, are you training today? Do you have a leg day today?
No, it was yesterday. So it's a cardio day today, and then tomorrow will be.
So what did your leg session yesterday? What did that look like?
Lots of different hamstring curls, hip thrusts with my hands not touching the bar. Yeah, like cables, adductors, just hitting all the squats, leg press. That's pretty much it. I'm not doing any like type of squat machines or anything that puts weight on my upper body right now.
Okay. So your next leg session will be very similar, or yeah.
Yeah, we're just blasting glutes and hamstrings right now, these final 3 weeks.
Well, sure, because this isn't really a building time. This is you just trying to hold on to everything that you've built in the off season, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
appreciate. Yeah, yeah. Well, Cass, this has been really, really great. Who what what is kind of your final message for women listening if you wanted to share something with them about either competing or just, self-esteem or life in general?
I guess we all have our own I don't want to say shit, but we all have our own stuff.
You're
uh,
fine.
what's my message? Just if your goals don't scare you, then like you should always be challenging yourself.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you're doing that. You just keep, like the neat thing about watching these progressions in someone's like competition history is like you're doing a show, listening to what it is that you need to do, and then you kind of go back to the drawing board and create a plan based on that. So that's what bodybuilding is. It's a constant refinement in the direction that you need to go in order to get to your goal, and you are doing it day after day after day. So I think that's very cool, showing women how it's done very
Thank you.
beautifully. Very beautifully. If they want to follow your journey or get in contact with you about your genes, where can people find you and follow you?
On Instagram, Kass G Fit, or the website is kg-jeans.com.
Awesome. I'm gonna totally get me a pair of those because it sounds like something I could live in.
Yes, I'm gonna send you a pair. You gotta try it.
You're amazing. That's awesome. Well, thanks everybody for listening and watching to another episode of the Women's Fittest. You can find me on Instagram at buffcake22. You can follow the podcast at the Women's Fittest and listen to anywhere you find podcasts. And you can also find me on YouTube at buffcake22. And remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day.